So we are here today with Sarabeth Bozeman, who is a counselor here at Stillwater's Counseling and Education Center. And I know, Sarabeth, that you have a real passion and desire to share the message that there is hope and healing when it comes to eating disorders.
Absolutely.
Share a little bit about, really, I guess, the difference between like eating disorder and like unhealthy eating habits.
Absolutely. So while they are similar because they both revolve around problematic eating behaviors, disordered eating patterns exist on a spectrum. So that spectrum involves unhealthy eating patterns and as well as attitudes about body image, shape, and weight. And those thoughts about body image, shape, and weight are distorted. So it is a disorder, it's just not as complex and persistent as eating disorders. So examples of what may be on that spectrum are skipping meals, binge eating, excessive use of diet medication, also compensatory behaviors, so behaviors to make up for things, so like excessive exercising.
Right.
Eating disorders are characterized just by a persistent impairment psychologically and functionally. So they're much more complex and they meet diagnostic criteria that is in the DSM for a diagnosable eating disorder. And key differences often come down to persistence, level of severity, and if they meet diagnostic criteria.
Absolutely. So from your perspective, there is some really good psychological treatment for eating disorders, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
So my preferred treatment for eating disorders is CBT, and I would go as far as to say it's the most widely acknowledged form of therapy for eating disorders because of all the evidence that is backing it up and supporting it. But it's important to mention that eating disorders are complex, so treatment has to be highly individualized to be successful. And so with that, just because it's evidence-based and evidence is backing it up, it doesn't mean that it works for everyone, just most people. So I think it's important to mention that. But anyway, CBT is not the only evidence-based form of therapy for eating disorders. DBT, dialectical behavioral therapy, acceptance and commitment therapy, ACT or ACT, family therapy, and ERP, exposure and response prevention, have also been proven to be effective in the treatment of eating disorders.
So when you counsel someone, you're looking at their unique situation, I would imagine, and then partnering or coming up with what's the best plan based on the treatment options that are available. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am, absolutely. And I think most people who treat eating disorders probably have a specific method they would naturally go in with.
Okay.
But yes, ma'am, definitely like assessing each patient's unique qualities, unique struggles, and choosing to pick and pull from other methods to make it more of an eclectic, unique thing for the client.
Share a little bit about how faith is a part of the treatment and part of the process of healing, really.
I'm really glad you asked that. I just think it's so necessary in eating disorders specifically because of the shame that is attached to them. Eating disorders is known for its shame, and there are several studies out there that show that it's a predictor or indicator of pathology of eating disorders or later dealing with one. So that just emphasizes why it's so important to get to the root of that and heal that. And I just think it's so easy to do when we tap into a client's faith, because what greater resource to extinguish shame than Christ,
Absolutely. Well, what inspired you to have a career in counseling?
Many things. I think first and foremost, it was the academics of psychology. So it was a course I took in high school, and I just loved it. And so that encouraged me to pursue counseling, or not counseling, but psychology in college. And then I later became interested in counseling. But when I look at that journey, I can see that the Lord was doing so much more in my life at the time. And it was a journey of recognizing my spiritual gift and choosing to accept that and find a career in that. So adjusting my how I was in psychology academically to be more of a personable method. But
Yeah.
yes, ma'am.
That's awesome. Well, if people want to learn more about still waters, and particularly maybe if there is an eating disorder and they want to address that, what is the best way to get in touch with still waters?
So I would recommend firstly visiting our website. That's where you can read a little bit about each counselor, their expertise, and just things they would like to share with a client beforehand. Also, you can read about our mission, and you can call, email, or text us, and our admin team will take care of everybody.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for taking time to share with us.
Thank you for coming here. I'm so happy to be with you.